on E's website. He still sells them. You got hoodies, that, and hats too. No?
I'm a laid back kind of guy.
All right, welcome to the latest episode of Game Day Glare. I'm Lance. I'm with E. This is the podcast for sports videographers. How you doing, E?
Doing great. Emotional. It's the finale. You know, I'm not going to be seeing you for a little while. I don't know how I feel about it. There's pros and cons.
More pros than cons. I mean, this is the wrap-up, season 2. Kind of crazy we're already here. This is something we started last year where we decided to start taking breaks in the summer. Last year was forced on you because basically I had you out working a whole bunch of corporate stuff with me and we just couldn't do it. But this year, the way our summer is working with vacations and that, we decided like, hey, let's take certain time off throughout the year and get back with season 3. So I mean, season 2 went by pretty fast. I mean, we had some milestones. We celebrated our second year of podcasting, over 100 episodes. Like we're on to something good here. Does it feel like that long, or how does it feel to you? Like, does it feel like we've done, 111 episodes later?
Well, yeah, definitely. It's part of my life. Like it's been, we've been doing this for I don't know how many years, but it's been now it's kind of part of my routine. So it feels weird when we're not doing it, but it doesn't feel like like hard work per se. It just feels it's like it's our thing.
It's our thing. Well, listen, with season 2 wrapping up, we do have some plans for season 3. That we're working on, so we'll let you guys in on that. But we just want to kind of on this episode wrap up some things. A lot of listeners write in, DM us on the side, comments on our YouTube, comments on Spotify and that. So we just thought, we'll go through some of the questions you guys asked. We'll answer those questions, then we'll wrap up with what we're looking forward to see on season 3. We're gonna take like a 6 to 8 week hiatus, so we'll be back late August, and for now, guys, I just want to. We hope you guys enjoy your summer as much as we're going to enjoy our summer, not having to record every week, because it's tough sometimes. Our schedules have been kind of crazy lately, but we got back on track. But you know what? Now it's time to take a little vacation and kind of recharge. So let's start off with the first fan question. So I'll ask it to you, E. What's the best budget camera setup right now for sports videography?
Well, I'm a big fan of the ZV-10. So if you're really, really low budget, then get the Mark 1. But I would say go with the Mark 2 if you can. It's really, there's a big jump in terms of quality and features and what it can do. And also, especially now that I'll say now, it's been a while now, but with the firmware update, you can even record in like 4K 120. So if you combine that with a cooling kit just to make sure that it doesn't overheat. You basically got an FX30 camera in your pocket. The ZV-10 Mark II for me is still sort of my go-to for like beginners or budget videography. And if you can afford a little bit more, then the FX30 obviously is it just takes care of that, am I going to overheat, things like that. And it's just like the body is a bit better as well, like the buttons in terms of like having easy access to the things that you might change quite often during a game, things of that nature. So yeah, that to me, like whether it's a ZV-10 1, 2, or FX30, that's where I would go to. But people have to remember, you still need to learn your basics. You still need to know how to expose, how to set up your white balance, things like that.
For me, I think the FX30 is probably the best bang for your buck. That little camera is a workhorse. And I feel like for beginners or someone who's building a kit, I would team that camera up with like the Tamron 17 to 70. I feel like that's a really good starter lens. It covers all the basics. You're wide enough for establishing shots. You're tight enough for some close-ups, and you have that in between if you have to do any interviews or stuff like that. So I think for me that FX30, especially right now, it's on sale still. So Sony must be having, maybe they got something new coming out soon. Maybe that FX32 rumor, who knows? But I feel like the FX30 is a great starting point. And you know what? It's a great camera that if you do eventually upgrade to a bigger camera, that could be your B camera, no problem. You're not, you didn't spend too much money, and all of a sudden, boom, you have two cameras in your kit. So I think the FX30 is a great starting point. And for me, that's the camera I would go to. I know E loves the ZV-E, but you know what? For me, it's the FX30.
All right, then. I didn't realize we were allowed to shit on each other's choices, but
That's it.
whatever.
That's it. That's it. No, but actually, you actually said it to me off camera that the Sony ZV-E10 is like the number one selling Sony camera. So I mean,
Yeah, the Mark One. Yeah,
there is a lot of clout behind what you say, and honestly, it is a great camera. It's just I'm always constantly afraid of the overheating. I know you mentioned the fan right away, but that's the only real reason why I push for the FX30 is because of that internal fan. But I mean, if you don't have the budget, then you get that external fan put on, and it's basically the same. It's almost the same sensor. It's almost the same everything. So.
but yeah, having the fan means this. It's an extra thing that you have to worry about, like because obviously it works with battery as well. So is it gonna last? And if it doesn't, am I gonna? Yeah. So FX30, if you can afford it, takes care of all of that.
Exactly. All right. Next up, what's one mistake most sports videographers still make on game day?
The main one that comes to mind is not moving enough, like just trying to get different perspectives, different camera positions, different like low angle, go high up in the stands, get like a bird's eye view, like just move around, add like diversity to your shots, and yeah, because otherwise a lot of people, especially parents, will sit down in one spot with a tripod and just film the entire game from there. And then when they try to make their videos like a cool highlight reel, they realize that yeah, it's not really happening because every shot is exactly the same, and they're wondering why and how can they improve. And then you tell them you need to move around, but like yeah, but like moving around, I can't really watch the game if I'm moving around. It's like yeah, well that's the thing right there. It's often one or the other. So yeah, that's the number one mistake.
So I'm going to go with the post-production mistake. And that is a lot of beginners don't know their deliverables. They didn't ask the proper questions of what is expected of me today. And that adds a lot of stress too if you're just shooting and you don't know what the final results are or what the team is looking for. So for me, it's ask the hard questions, ask what is expected of you, ask what they're looking for, ask what the final outcome is, ask what platforms these videos are going on, what the main purpose is. And that way you could show up prepared to know like what you're expected to capture.
It's true. Like for example, you knew like today you're on a podcast, like a big important podcast, so you wore like a colored shirt, you're all like
That's it.
a new haircut, everything, like
It could be
prepared for the deliverables.
It could be because I have a tea time after this. Like I don't know. I'm not saying I do, but it could be. Some of us just wear their own merch. Some of us go out and buy their own clothes. It depends. Whatever you want, whatever makes your life easier. I like the self promotion though. Move ref. I'm filming. That's a great thing. So guys, if anyone's looking for a shirt for the summer, go on his website. He still sells them. You got hoodies, that, and hats too. No?
I'm a laid back kind of guy.
That's it. That's it.
I actually I watched a documentary the other night on Netflix. It's like this. Anyway, it's like a crime story thing, and then this guy whose girlfriend died. Like at the first time you see him, it's at their wedding. He's getting married in like a polo shirt and jeans, and then when she dies, he's at the funeral wearing a hoodie. I'm like, that's my man right there.
Like he's laid back.
Overcomplicate things.
Well, that's it. Actually, you know what? Let's bring this up. Even when you're filming sports, keep your outfit simple, but wear something dark. Try and wear dark. Like in production, that you're supposed to wear like black, but wear something dark, not just to not be noticed on camera or on TV or whatever. But there's times where you get dirty too, if you're on one knee or depending on where you are. So I wear dark clothes a lot just because I seem to get dirty a lot. Like, I don't know, especially at hockey, like sometimes there's like grease on the handles by the board, stuff like that. I've got it on my pants, I got it on my khakis, and then there's scraps. So dress dark, Dress casual like E, but you can dress with some darker clothes too. It definitely helps. This was not a question in our thing. This is just us totally rambling off topic like usual. But hey, dress dark, okay, guys? Next question then. Next question that we got written is how do you stand out if everyone is shooting the same sport in your area? So I guess if you live in a small town like we don't really we live in Montreal, so we don't really have that issue where we can go and we know we have multiple sports that we can film. But I guess like, hey, if you're from a football town in Texas, how do you stand out if all the sports videographers are filming the same games?
You develop your own style, which is easier said than done. But when you do it, it actually works out pretty well most of the time. Like it's if you have a style that stands out for whatever reason, whether it's in your editing or your color grade or something like that, and it's just like it looks different than everyone else, people are gonna notice it and they're gonna want to hire you specifically for that style. So it could be visual effects, it could be sound design, it could be like filming. I mean, when you're filming sports, obviously composition is can be the way to do it. Like if you're applying yourself more than most to a proper composition and something that looks cinematic and like I said, you move around, you do all these extra shots that other people don't think about doing. That's a great place to start. But then in the edit, that's where you can really like put on your imprint and onto the whole package and make it your own in a way that is recognizable. And yeah, that's how you stand out, in my opinion.
So I have two tips to stand out because everything you said there is perfect. So I'm not going to repeat what you said. I'm going to say fast delivery. Try and be faster than those guys in turning around your clips, turning around your edit, sharing your stuff on socials. Try and be the first one out there. And the next step, it ties into it, is better client experience. You know, if you're actually working for the team or the team's gonna be hiring that, then go above and beyond and make sure that they feel important. Make sure that you're delivering value. Make sure you know you're delivering that content fast. You want them to feel like, wow, like you know, E did everything great today, and look how fast everything is. Look how great everything is. Because that will give you a little bit of the edge over the other guys who are shooting similar stuff in your town. What's better? What's more important when you're starting out? Better gear or more reps?
Reps for sure. Because the better gear, if you don't know what you're doing with it, is not going to take you very far. Yeah, definitely be patient in terms of like the results and just practice. Get and you know get better is a very generic thing to say, but what it means is just if you see that you know your image doesn't look great, then ask yourself why, and then work on your exposure and your white balance and things like that, and try to understand why it looks a certain way and what you can do to avoid it. And especially when you're filming outdoors, maybe it's your positioning in regards to the sun, things like that. So once you understand these things and you film accordingly, that's like the first step, and then you can learn the second step. Same thing goes with like focus. Maybe there's situations where I should go to manual focus, so learn how to manual focus. So yeah, all that comes from reps and just being intentional and smart with your reps. Like just yeah, like I said, learn from them and get better next time, and that's how you get good.
Yeah, because habits matter more than expensive equipment. You know, the more shoots you do with your camera, the more used you get to the menu, the settings, all that, and you're not fighting those settings anymore. You know, okay, I'm switching positions. I got to check my white balance. So I'm switching here. I got to check my shutter speed. You kind of build up that system of your own of how to get the best shots from different areas and different angles and different lighting situations. Where when you first start, you know, you might forget to change your white balance the first time. But once you kind of make a couple of those mistakes and you kind of see like, oh, you know what, I have my white balance set at 43K for UV lights, and all of a sudden it's a 56K light. Well, you're going to notice that difference right away. So know your camera, and the more you shoot, the better you'll get, the more comfortable you'll get. And you'll gain the experience of like, you know, good angles, bad angles, setting up the shot, setting up the edit while you're recording, you know, just silly things like, you know, the habit of flagging your shot with your hand in front of it after every good clip, and that you're going to come up with all little tips and tricks to kind of speed up your workflow and you only get that with reps. And that's why we always suggest too, when you first start off, like don't go out for that big contract right away. Get comfortable and trust yourself, trust your instincts. And when you're charging someone right off the bat, you can't always do that, and you won't have that flexibility, and you won't have that wiggle room to mess up, because I guarantee you will mess up. Because E and I have messed up many times in our sports videography journey, and it's all part of it, and it's made us better shooters today. So you know what? Reps, 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 and then when you're ready, you can upgrade your gear. Because if you don't know how to shoot properly on an iPhone, you're not going to be able to shoot on an FX3.
I agree.
There you go. All right.
Next question.
Next question. Yeah. What shots do you always try to get no matter the sport?
Well, to me, the answer that comes to mind is just cutaway shots. Like, because ultimately, no matter what sport I'm filming, I'm gonna have to cut to something different at some point to either mix it up, or just because a lot of my shots are similar and I need something in the middle to. So if there's crowd there, it's obviously crowd shots. It's the easiest one because it's can be just as dynamic as the action itself. But if I'm limited crowd wise, then I'm looking for things around the court or the field that can make a nice like cutaway, whether it's just like equipment, the scoreboard, a referee, something like a good close up of something that relates to the game, but is not in the action per se, so that I can use it pretty much anywhere in my edit. Things like that will be useful no matter what sport you're filming.
Yeah, like so hero shots, reaction shots, detail shots. That's what you're kind of talking about, right? Anything you can cut away to that isn't just action. One of the things that I think is always important too is the establishing shot. Get some venue shots, get some nice wide shots of the atmosphere in that. You might not always use them, but they're definitely good to have in case. So for me, that's what I feel. It doesn't matter the sport. It doesn't matter what I'm filming. Having that establishing shot in my bank of shots will definitely come in handy if I need it for my edit, or if I, get asked for a last minute request or something like that. I know I'm covered. So I would always put that on my list. And it's something usually I do when I arrive. Before I even start doing anything else, I usually go and I get those establishing shots, people walking in, or even empty stadiums look great. They're always a great way to start off videos, and that even like if I can fly my drone or something like that, I will. But you don't always have the time, but it definitely something that establishes the area, the venue, the event. I think that's very, very important. All right. Next up, what's one thing clients care about more than videographers think?
I'd say probably. Well, I was gonna say like peace of mind, but also speed. Like that's probably the main two. Like for me, anyway. Well, speed, because I think you touched on it a few times on the show. Like I think like clients appreciate someone that has like a fast turnaround, and they don't have to, they don't have to like always like run a email you and ask you like when can we get this, when's the edit gonna be ready. Like if you're actually quick and efficient and all that, like they really appreciate that, and peace of mind kind of comes with it. Like I mean, if they trust you, if they know they know that you're going to get it done. They're not worried about you being at the right place at the right time to film the action. They're not worried about you like editing it properly. They're not worried about you making like rookie mistakes. It's one less thing for them to worry about, and they really appreciate that too.
Yeah. So one thing I'll say that they don't seem to care about is your gear. Okay. They don't care what camera you're shooting on. They care about the quality and the details in the edit you hand over. But one thing that I feel like they do care about is your communication and your confidence. So, be transparent. Tell them what you expect from them, what they expect from you. Find out all the details about the job, and be confident on the shoot. Show them that you know what's going on. You're not cracking under stress, because there will be some stressful moments. There will be some time where, things don't go right. A mic fails, or your battery dies at the wrong time. You got to switch fast and that. So show that confidence. I feel like they care more about communications and confidence than you think. It's one of those things that doesn't show up on a CV. They'll only see it when they work with you and you see it in person. And having those two things will definitely make the work experience a lot better for them. All right. So this is our last question. So these are just some questions that we haven't answered throughout the year. Okay, guys. So the last question I have is, what's one piece of sports videography advice you no longer agree with?
That's a good one. Um, I don't know. Do you have one? Like,
Yeah, I got one. Ready?
I'll
We hear
think
this all
about
the time.
mine while you say yes.
I'll fix it in post.
Ah, yeah.
Nah, I'm tired of that. No, get the shot right proper when you're there. Fix your exposure there. Fix your white balance there. Set up for the shot there, because not everything can be fixed in post. And there's times, like especially with audio, when you have really bad audio, like I'm sorry to say this, but shit audio is shit audio. You could throw any filter you want on it. It's not going to get any better. Maybe you can get the background noise. If it clips, it clips. There's not much you could do. I know there's some AI software out there that can help a little bit, but crap audio is crap audio. So, you got to nail these things. You cannot fix everything in post. And why would you want to? Knowing that you got to go back and do this rush edit, and then you got to fix this one shot that you need, and you got to work on it, and it takes extra time. So no, I'm tired of hearing I'll fix it in post.
I found mine.
Okay, what's yours?
And you're gonna like it. You need 4K 120 to shoot sports.
Yes, you do not need that.
Yeah, I was definitely guilty of that. Like when I had access to 4K 120, I was shooting everything that way, and then I realized that, you know what, like it's taking a lot of space on my server. It's taking a lot of time to send the raw clips to clients when I need to do that, and all that for what? Like ultimately for 2 or 3 times maybe tops in a video that I'll slow down the footage all the way down to 20% speed. So yeah, I realize that it's not mandatory. So I'll still use it from time to time, but I'll never, unless the client specifically asks for it. I'm never filming an entire game at 4K 120. I'm filming at 4K 60, and then I'll film definitely like the presentation at the start and 4K 120, maybe the last 5 minutes of the game. Moments like that I know are going to be important. But other than that, 4K 60 is fine.
Yeah, because if you're shooting just for socials, say, right, 4K 120 is long. Like if you slow down a clip to 20%, that's a long shot, And on socials, I think 4K 30 is way better because it's a faster paced edit. So you have to know what your outcome will be. But I mean, a proper 4K 120 shot, like in one of your YouTube videos where you have Mary Phillip playing lifting the cup and you sped ramped it perfectly, that's where you want that 120 shot. That's where it comes in, But you have to figure out when you need it, because there's no point of filming a full game at 4K 120 because you're not going to play the whole game back at 20%. So save the space. There is one other thing I had on my list of things that I no longer agree with is just shoot everything. So like, sometimes you go to an event and you're like, oh, just go and film. You're like, well, no, I need a shot list. I need to know what you want. I'm not just shooting everything because it's a waste, especially nowadays with the price of memory. No, I'm not filling up my memory card, shooting everything, because you have to know when enough is enough. And you could shoot 128 gigs just in warm up, just in the beginning of before, if you show up to a venue 2 hours before and you're filming the outdoor ambience, the people coming in with tickets, the crowd, the warm up and all that, that could be a memory card. So no, don't just shoot everything, shoot with purpose, because you don't need all that.
It's funny how, like, back when it was still tapes and stuff, like we were much more conscious about, what we were recording and what we're not recording, and then it became all digital and it was all like free game, and now we're kind of slowly going back to being more cautious because of the price of SD cards and SSDs and all that. So yeah, it's a circle of life.
I'll tell you a little story. I remember when we first switched over, we got an EX1 at the Canadians. So it was our first card that had digital cards, and you just have to put in the card, first camera, sorry, and you have to put the card in, you have to transcode it, and then you can use it. And I remember freaking out when I saw like 120 clips, and I was like, oh my God. And before, it was like we digitize a tape and we'd have one clip, and we just scrub through that one clip forever. And it took me a while to get used to that workflow. Now I can never imagine just having one clip unless I'm doing like a multicam edit. I don't want one clip. I want that 120 clips so I could pick what I want, what I don't want. But it's strange how our train of thought changes, with the technology. And definitely being conscious of the amount that you shoot to save space, it will help your edit move a lot faster because you won't be shooting all the unnecessary stuff you don't need. All right. Any more cliches you want to add for advice you no longer agree with, or we're done with that? We're good.
No, I think I'm good.
You're good. All right. Well, that's it for our questions and that we had, listeners write in. But now we just want to kind of wrap up season 2. So, what stood out for you, E, in this season 2?
Well, I think we're getting more and more comfortable on camera. I think I ramble still a bit much, but I'm getting better at it than before. I think it's becoming more and more natural as we do it, and yeah, it's always a fun experience. I think it helps me in all the other stuff that I do as well. So it's a big plus from that perspective as well. And yeah, I think like season 2, like it's all a blur, so it's hard for me to say, oh yeah, that's more season 1, that's more season 2. Like it's all one big thing for me, to be honest. But yeah, still enjoy it, still there, and looking forward to the next one.
So what stood out for me is my 2 solo episodes where
Oh
you
yeah, true.
made me step out of my comfort zone.
My
So
two favorite ones.
your 2, yeah, exactly. And it was just due to scheduling conflicts and that. But like I've been flirting with the idea of starting my own YouTube channel and just getting out there in front of the camera and doing like a
I've been
business
talking about
thing.
it for like a
But,
year and a half.
yeah, exactly. But I do put up clips. I do put up clips, short clips. I just don't do full episodes. And then I realized, like, yeah, I could do this. I mean, I just did it for the podcast, so why can't I do it for there? What's really the difference? So, thanks to you, I did step out of my comfort zone, and it is something that I'm going to be working on throughout our break because it is something that I want to practice. And I do feel like, doing this conversation weekly and that does help with a lot of things that you don't realize. Like when I have meetings now and Teams meetings and that, I'm a lot more vocal. I don't stutter as much. I'm more assertive. And I feel like that's important to have that on camera presence. And it's hard because I coach a lot of corporate people to be comfortable on camera, but it only helps if I'm comfortable on camera. And this podcast has made me more comfortable on camera. I mean, I do have a cheat code. I have you, so I'm just talking to a friend. We control it. We can edit. We can cut whenever we want. But I try and tell that to my clients too. Like, if you mess up a line, who cares? It's just me. You're talking to me. We'll cut it out. I'll forget about it the next day and move on. So, having this platform makes you open up and makes you feel comfortable, makes you step out of your comfort zone and get comfortable. So that was one thing for me. Do you have like a favorite episode or favorite guest or anything like that comes to mind?
Well, I really liked Kyle, who was the motocross guy. Like that was very different because yeah, we've neither of us had ever filmed motocross or any type of racing for that. Well, I went once to the Trois-Rivières Grand Prix, but yeah, that was about it. So yeah, it was interesting to have the perspective of a professional and tell us how it works and everything, and he invited us as well. So I can't remember when's that Montreal one that he's supposed to invite us to, but
End of August, I believe.
Okay.
So it works out we're still on vacation.
Maybe it happened already. He changed
No,
his
no,
mind.
didn't happen yet. I will reach out to him though to see. But yeah, no, he was good. And it was nice to hear about motocross and that. And he also does a lot of hockey too. So we had a lot of hockey talk off camera. So that was cool. So this season we had a little bit less guests on the season just because of schedule and workload. Like we were having hard times getting our schedule together, so we didn't have as many guests as we can. We do have some lined up for season 3. But one of my not favorite episodes, but one of the most surprising episodes I found was viewer reaction to our Sony A7 IV episode. It seemed like that was a really hot topic. I guess because it's a pretty affordable high-end camera, and it's like a really good hybrid camera. So once we posted that episode, a lot of viewers reached out. They wanted a little bit more details. It had really good numbers. All the social clips had good numbers in that. So it always made me think, like, is it something that people want to hear? They want us to review more gear and stuff like that from time to time when something big comes out, because that Sony A7 V episode really came up. I mean, it doesn't help that I hyped it up for like a year. Like for a year, I was always talking about that and dropping like subliminal messages, Sony A7 V, Sony A7 V. But when it finally came out and E got his hands on it and shared his experiences with it, like, yo, you guys listened, and I don't know how many viewers ended up buying one, but it was definitely a hot topic. So that was an interesting moment because we never really did a gear review like that where we only talked about one piece of gear throughout an episode. But it seems like it was something that you guys enjoyed. So maybe it's something that we do later on in the future.
Yeah, no, it's true. But obviously, it's not like there's cameras coming out every week, so it's it can be it's hard. It's not something that's easy to do on a regular basis. But yeah, every time there's especially a Sony camera coming out, I think people are definitely interested and want to know more about it.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, so what's up next for E and I is we're going to take 6 to 8 weeks off. We're going to come back late August. But we do have some guests that we are talking to. So we're in talks right now with an NBA videographer who wants to come on the show, a director from an NHL team who handles all sports videography. And we're also in talks with a new soccer team that opened up in Montreal. It hasn't worked out yet time-wise. You know, we've gone back and forth in that. But basically to talk about how their team branding, how their storytelling year one, their identity, how they're running their video for the first time inside. Because a lot of people don't realize when you work for a sports team, usually there's already a story created. You know, if you get hired by an NBA team, say the Boston Celtics, well, they have this rich history. You're just building off that. But when you start something new from scratch, well, you got to create that history. So we thought that would be kind of cool too. But yeah, we got a couple things lined up, but you guys will have to wait till late August to hear about them. So anything else you want to add?
Well, I DM'd Matt Damon to see if he was interested. Haven't heard anything yet, but we'll see. Fingers crossed.
The only problem is not the Matt Damon that everyone's thinking about, right? You know a different Matt Damon? No? The real one? All right, guys. Well, listen, this is it for season 2 of Game Day Glare. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, if you have any ideas of new topics that you want to talk about, new sports to cover, different subjects, please feel free, write us, DM us. Our emails are attached to the thing. Send us a message and we'll gladly get back to you. And we just want to say thank you for listening to season 2, and we look forward to season 3.
Enjoy the break. Have fun.
That's it. Take care, guys. Bye.